Welcome back to the Primers A to Z series. This is series number 2. Today we will be going over the Primal Rights Primeware digital gauge and how to use it, measuring primer pocket depth, primer heights or thickness, whatever you want to call it, and primer seating depth. I did find a manual for it, which is on my website, hitthexreloads.com file downloads. Whenever I get my new Rabbit Hole RPG rim thickness tool, we will go over that one too. However, the Rabbit Hole RPG has the added function of measuring rim thickness, which is why I bought it in the first place. So stay tuned for that one. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, leave a like, and if you'd like to donate, head down to the membership link below this video. So let's take a look at measuring this stuff. Now to the gauge. I have it mounted on just this generic gauge mounting stand, block, whatever you call it. I don't know the name. I'm sorry, I can't help you out there. But anyways, let's get to the gauge. So on the gauge, we've got a data button, an inch millimeter button, a resolution button, and a plus minus button, depending on what you're doing. Then we've got our green on 0 button. Then we've got our red off button. So when you order this, you also have to order a caliber specific collar that goes on top. Okay, that'll be on their website. So now let's turn her on. Pressing the green button, it says 0.1834. Now to zero it, you would take your gauge block, something flat, make sure it's clean, and put it down on top and hold it down there firmly. And then you hit the green 0 button. Now we're zeroed. Okay, now we're zeroed. So if I take it off, it goes to 0.1834 because that's how much the plunger has protruded now. And that's where we want it when we do our readings, and you'll see why. Then you would take your caliber specific collar and screw it back on. Now this data button is if you've got some kind of cable that plugs here and goes to your computer. So you would hit that data button every time you take a reading and it'll shoot it to your computer. But I don't even use that because this comes with a great app for your phone which works via Bluetooth or wireless. I'm not sure. I think it's Bluetooth. That'll put it right on your phone. So depending on what you want to do with it, if you want to record every single one, you can. But also on the phone app, there's a way of keeping track of each measurement also. So then to turn it off, you would simply hit the red button, off, and it's off. Now the first thing we're going to use this for is measuring primer pocket depth. We're going to turn it on. We'll give it a quick 0. Zero. And put our collar back on. So we're going to measure our primer pocket depth right now. And all you would do is simply set this on top, holding it tight and flat, and our primer pocket depth is now 1223 on that particular piece. Now, the most important thing I forgot of all I want to show you is the app for this for your phone. So I've got under gun apps, electronic dial, and we're connected now. So I would hit measurement down here, and as you see, 1835, 1835. This shows what's on there. Take another piece. Do the same thing. 1225. Another piece. 1224. Now you've got to be careful that you hold this in there flat. If I start rocking it or something, it's going to change. Make sure you're flat and pushing straight down. 1224. 1224. 1225. So that's as easy as it is to measure primer pocket depth, which we all need to know all of that when we're doing our primer pocket uniforming. 1223. So that's as easy as that is. Very great, and the phone app I really love being able to see that, because it's hard to see this if I'm above it off to an angle or whatever. So that phone app really works. And you'll know you're connected because on the corner of this gauge you'll see this little wireless thing here. Now if I close this app, the wireless thing is constant now. If I close that app, you'll see that this is now flashing because I'm not connected. So that's real simple. Alrighty then. Now the next thing we're going to do is primer seating depth. And again, just to show you, we're going to zero it. And something else I like to do is just take a Q-tip, make sure everything's cleaned off of there. Take another zero. Now this gauge is very sensitive. Now don't forget we're talking about 1/10,000th of an inch. So zero it. Screw your collar back on. Again, push down, make sure you're flat and steady. 0.0064. 0.0065. 0.0063. 0.0065. Now you saw that all of those were within like 3/10,000ths of an inch, plus or minus 1.5/10,000ths of an inch. Now you will never get those kind of measurements unless you use the bracket that I made for the Primal Rights CPS primer tool. That's how close you can stay in your seating depths. You will no longer be sorting your rounds by seating depth. You won't have to anymore. So that's that for using it to read your primer seating depth. Okay, now the next operation we're going to be doing is measuring your primer height or thickness, whatever you want to call it. So for this operation, we take off the collar and we leave it off. Then again, dust off. Make sure that's clean. Make sure your gauge block is clean. And zero it out. Okay, we're zeroed. Now the hard part of this, it's not hard, it's just tedious. With a pair of tweezers, grab yourself a primer, pull down on the stem on the bottom of the gauge and drop it in there. Then take your gauge block and hold it on top and release. Alright, that primer is 0.1210. Now, if you gotta slowly take this off or you're gonna lose that primer. Alright, so we measured that one. Now we take another one, pull down, drop it in. .1230. See, I took it off fast and that primer went flying. You have to get a system going to figure out how you're going to do this and make it easier on yourself. So you pull down. I always make sure the anvils are pointing up because I want the cup on the bottom. .1204. Now I could pull down on this and let it up slowly and pick it off. Again, with the anvil pointing up, pull down, drop your primer in, take your gauge block, your gauge block that I hid back there to make it hard on myself. And there we go, 0.1189. I'll pull down on this. I'll put the block out front. And there we go. Now this is hard for me to do it when I'm trying to show it on camera coming from this angle and all that. When I'm in front of it, I get a system going and it takes me about maybe 10 seconds to measure each primer. But that's how that works. And all these things in conjunction, your primer pocket depth, and your primer thickness are all going to come into play when you do your primer seating to figure all that out. So thank you very much for watching this series, Primers A to Z series number 2, about using the Primal Rights Primeware gauge. And if you found this video interesting, please subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, leave a like, and if you'd like to donate, head down to the membership link below this video. Thank you.